Mahmud of Ghazni. Mahmud of Ghazni ascended the throne in 997 CE and had an extensive empire which included modern-day Afghanistan, most of modern Iran, parts of Pakistan and northern India. In 1025 CE, his armies marched from Ghazni and attacked the holy city of Somnath in Gujarat. The temple attracted him because of its fabulous wealth. According to historians, his booty exceeded 20,000 dinars. In the beginning, Mahmud of Ghazni became the ruler of Ghazni in 997 CE. He was interested in building a large empire in Central Asia. Between 1000 CE and 1025 CE, he attacked places such as Punjab, Mathura, Kannauj, Peshawar and Multan. He was fascinated by the idols of pure gold and silver found in Indian temples. The Somnath temple was attacked 17 times by Mahmud. He also plundered several temple towns as these were depositories of wealth, golden idols and jewelry. Mahmud was one of the greatest conquerors of the medieval period. His attacks devastated northern India and left it in a weak state. He carried away not only immense wealth but also many skilled artists and learned men. The famous scholars Al-Biruni and Firdausi lived in his court. Firdausi wrote Shahnama, the biography of Mahmud. Al-Biruni wrote Tehqeeq-e-Hind, in which he extensively wrote about his thoughts and ideas about Indian people. After Mahmud's death, his successors showed no interest in India. However, many Muslim leaders and religious saints called Sufis settled down in India. Mohammed Ghori, another important Muslim ruler who made his influence felt in India, was Mohammed Ghori. He ascended the throne of Ghazni in 1173 CE, made Punjab his base and was ready for a campaign towards Delhi and Ganga Valley. Meanwhile, the famous Indian ruler Prithviraj Chauhan ascended the throne of Ajmer in 1178 CE and occupied Delhi after defeating the Chandelas. Then he returned his attention towards Punjab and Ganga Valley. So, both Prithviraj Chauhan and Mohammed Ghori wanted to control Punjab and Ganga Valley. This conflict led to two important battles in 1191 CE and 1192 CE at Tarain near Bhatinda. Battles of Tarain. A dispute over a fortress on the border of the two kingdoms brought the armies of the two kingdoms into conflict in the first battle of Tarain, Tarauri, in 1191 CE. Prithviraj defeated Mohammed Ghori and pardoned him despite his generals asking him not to do so. Within a year, Mohammed Ghori made careful preparations and marched back with a large army. Prithviraj was able to muster the support of all the Rajas of northern India, including his father-in-law, Raja Jaichand of Kannauj. The superior organization and faster movements of Turkish cavalry proved too much for him. Mohammed Ghori won the second battle of Tarain and executed Prithviraj Chauhan. With this win, Mohammed Ghori became the master of Delhi area and eastern Rajasthan. Interestingly, he also defeated Jaichand of Kannauj later in 1194 CE. The second battle of Tarain ushered in Muslim rule in the northern India. Having to go back to Ghazni, he entrusted the further conquests to his generals Qutubuddin Aibak and Bakhtiyar Khalji. He was killed on his way back to Ghazni. He is often referred to as the founder of Turkish rule in India. Political developments in South India. There were several warring states in South India during the medieval period, as was the case in northern India. Among different states, the Pallavas, the Rashtrakutas, and the Cholas fared better than others. The Cholas. The Chola kingdom was the strongest empire in South India between 800 to 1200 CE. Their capital, Tanjavur, was a beautiful city of palaces and temples. In the 9th century, Vijayalaya, a Chola ruler, ruled over a small territory lying north of the Kaveri river. He conquered Tanjavur and made it his capital. He was regarded as the founder of Chola dynasty. His successors defeated the Pandyas of Madurai, the Pallavas of Kanchi, and the ruler of Sri Lanka. Cholas were defeated by Rashtrakutas in 949 CE. Raja I. The golden era of Chola Empire started with the accession of Raja I to the throne. He established control over large parts of Deccan and South India by defeating the Pandyas, the Chalukyas, and the Cheras. He built a powerful navy and conquered northern Sri Lanka and established control over Lakshadweep and the Maldives. Raja I was a great builder. He constructed the beautiful Brihadeshwara temple of Shiva at Tanjavur, also called the Rajrajeshwara temple. The art of making bronze statues flourished under Raja I and his successors. Rajendra Chola I. Raja I was succeeded by Rajendra Chola I. According to an inscription, his army defeated the Pala ruler of Bengal and reached the river Ganga. He proclaimed himself as Gangaikonda, the conqueror of Ganga, and named his capital Gangaikonda Cholapuram, the city of temples near Tanjavur. He built a strong navy to control overseas trade and commerce. The navy of Rajendra Chola I went to Southeast Asia and defeated the forces of the kingdom of Sri Vijaya. The Sri Vijaya Empire of Malay, Java, and Sumatra was powerful and controlled the sea routes from India to China. They did not allow the Chola ships to sail through the Straits of Malacca. This restored the Cholas' flourishing trade with Southeast Asia and southern China. In 13th century, the downfall of Chola kingdom was brought about by internal conflicts and frequent wars against neighboring kingdoms. Chola Administration. The Chola Empire was divided into provinces called mandalams, which in turn were divided into Valanadu and Nadu. The Valnadus were the subdivisions of mandalam. They may be understood as modern-day Zilla Parishad. The Valnadu was in turn divided into Nadus, which can be compared as modern-day villages. The system of local self-government in the villages was an important characteristic of Chola administration. Princes were appointed as governors of Mandalam. The Chola kings were assisted by a council of efficient ministers and administrators. The kings built a good network of roads. Trade and commerce flourished. Kaveripattinam and Nagapattinam were the chief ports of Cholas. Merchants came from Southeast Asia, China, and Romans also carried on trade. The merchants carried glassware, brocades, sandalwood, perfumes, camphor, and precious stones. Chola art and architecture. Chola artists created and perfected bronze sculptures which were worshipped as living entities. Graceful elegance characterized the primarily religious bronze sculptures of the period. The most famous example is the Nataraj, or the dancing Shiva. Temples became not only the place of worship but also the center of entertainment. It was in the South Indian temples that Bharatnatyam dance began. Dancing girls were known as Devdasis, who learned and performed in the temples. Exquisite temples like Brihadeshwara temple at Tanjavur and the Nataraj temple at Chidambaram have been constructed during Chola period. Common people followed Hinduism. The Brahmins and the merchants were the most respected classes in the society. With Raja I, the Chola culture and Shiva religion permeated in the whole of Ceylon, Sri Lanka. The two great philosophers of this period were Ramanuja and Madhava, who propagated different religious ideologies. Agrarian Expansion. The Chola rulers granted land to royal officials, Brahmins, temples, and other religious institutions. The tax-free land granted to Brahmins was known as Brahmadev. It was looked after by a sabha. The temples were said to be the largest landholders during the Chola period. Often entire villages were given to temples. These were called Devdan villages. Land granted to joint institutions was called Palli Chanda. Trivia. The great world traveller Marco Polo visited the Pandyan port of Kayal at least twice during 13th century. Marco Polo informs us that Pandyans made very fine silk, which he compared to tissues of a spider's web. Trivia. Mahmud of Ghazni attacked Somnath temple around 1025 CE. Hindus need to go there wherever there was an eclipse of moon. It was believed that souls of men used to meet there after separation from body, and the revered idol used to incorporate them into different bodies as per their karmas. Trivia. The Kallanai Dam built across the Kaveri River was constructed by the Chola king Karaikalan around 2nd century CE. It resulted in great irrigation to sustain the paddy cultivation.